Hello guys, welcome back. Let's discuss Hellcat, Springfield's answer to Sig Sauer's P365. Much like Hellion, it is an imported product of the Croatian manufacturer. Springfield has made a decent name for itself with the XD series, which offered excellent value to American customers. However, the Croatian firearm manufacturer has stepped up its game with Hellcat, and it takes only a glance at the spec sheet to know that. It is a subcompact handgun that offers huge capacity, which is not the forte of such pistols. The Hellcat holds 11 rounds in the standard magazine and 13 rounds in the extended magazine. A new extended magazine has also been released that can hold 15 rounds. It is by far the most you can get in a micro-compact 9mm. Although it beats the Sig P365 by just one round in both standard and extended magazines, we have got to count the difference. This might be the unique selling point of Hellcat, but the gun also offers a lot beyond that. It has almost the same size as P365, but works more like a single-action Glock with the added benefit of super high capacity magazines. These might be things you already know, but it was important to mention them anyway. Well, now that we have covered the basics, let's get to the actual part, the one where I tell you about the details that might feel tiny, but are important enough to influence your decision. Let's get to it. Ergonomics. Let's start with ergonomics, something that micro-compact pistols are not that good at. The controls on Hellcat are basic and fairly simple. You get a slide stop, a magazine release, and a takedown lever. An optional model with manual safety is also available. It is not a very good ergonomic design, but it is not too bad as well. Let's just say I have held better micro-compacts in my hand. While shooting this pistol, my thumb ends up holding the slide release down, which consequently fails to lock the slide back on an empty magazine. It is not a design issue because the slide locks back perfectly when I shoot the pistols with my thumb away. I know you probably would not want me to blame the design for my grip, but I think otherwise. It is not something that I have experienced with other micro-compacts, but I have never had this issue with the P365, the gun it competes against. I know it is rather subjective, but I feel the position of the slide release is much better on the P365. However, one thing that I like quite a lot is the slide serrations. It features rear slide serrations at the top of the slide, which is incredible. Not that I have experienced any jams, but I think this design will make it easier to clear them. Plus, it also makes racking the slide more fun. Moving on, the grips of Hellcat feature aggressive texturing, and to be honest, when I first looked at the gun, I thought it was not something I was gonna like. However, to my surprise, the grips did not feel as abrasive as I thought. Upon looking it up on the web, I found that Springfield has incorporated flattened triangles in the texture, which is supposed to make it less abrasive. I don't know exactly how it works, but yes, it makes a difference. And when compared with P365, I definitely feel more comfortable with these grips. The last thing I want to discuss in ergonomics is the trigger, and I have been reading and hearing mixed reviews about it. Some are even calling it a better trigger than Glock, but I probably would disagree with that. But I must mention that it has a shorter travel than Glock. I also feel that the reset is a bit far out for a single action trigger, but I would not give much of a hard time to Hellcat because of it. However, the rest is tactical and audible, which I appreciate. To be honest, many of the drawbacks I have nitpicked are subjective, and you might not even encounter them, but they had to be said. Versatility. While the gun targets the concealed carry market, it can be used for home defense thanks to the 15-round magazine of 9mm. The rail and the ability to mount a light and other basic accessories allow it to double as a carry gun, in addition to a competent home defense option. As for the market it is intended for, well, there's not much you would find to complain about. Even with the OWB installed, the gun is relatively easy to conceal. The Hellcat size borders the pocket-sized pistol, which can be used for deep concealed carry. In simple words, you can conceal this gun in casual and formal clothing without needing a fancy holster or anything of that sort. Availability of optics-ready models. Remember when I said Springfield had stepped up their game? Well, this is what I was talking about. Springfield has introduced optics-ready models, which is very smart as I believe it is the future for pistols. Any brand that does not include the ability to accept red dot in their new models will certainly miss the boat. Furthermore, the sights on Hellcat are also quite impressive. It uses a solid set of iron sights, including a big high-vis U at the rear and a yellow high-vis at the front. A bright white half circle around the U-dot in the rear sights is very well made and feels effortless to see. It is also squared off, making it easier to use for one-hand manipulation. To be honest, I was a bit skeptical of the big yellow dot, but acquiring and locking the target was a breeze as I started using the Hellcat. However, even if you do not like these sights, it is not a problem. Springfield has done a brilliant job by designing the gun to accept SIG sights. So, any of the SIG sights will fit on the Hellcat. On the range. As you might expect, the Hellcat does not let you down on the range. As mentioned, tracking the target with a big yellow front sight is simple, which makes taking follow-up shots fairly easy. The recoil is also mild, and the adaptive grip greatly allows you to maintain the grip. It does not try to get out of hand. However, I certainly felt some snap to it, but not enough to cause any annoyance. Another thing that I want to mention is when you use 2-inch dots like I hack. Those big sights certainly cause a bit of a problem. They cover a decent part of the target, which might prevent you from hitting it dead center, but you can still drop the round in the circle. I think you would be better off with standard sights and drills where time and accuracy are the issues. As for the reliability, I think I have shot somewhere around 700 rounds with it so far and have not experienced a single malfunction. I mean, it is a well-made gun with a fairly expensive price tag, and I would have been seriously disappointed if it had had any reliability issues. Should you buy it? The Hellcat is an impressive gun. There are no doubts about it. The large capacity, standard accessory rail, and overall intuitive design certainly make it an appealing purchase. But boy, it has an expensive price tag. Do not get me wrong, Springfield's Hellcat has a lot going for it, and I would recommend it to anyone looking for a gun. It is just that I think it should have been priced a bit more competitively. As to why I think that, well, for starters, there are better triggers on single-action handguns at a price far lower than this one. And secondly, I find slide release quite annoying. Again, I know it is quite subjective, but I cannot help but think P365 has a better design in that regard, and I bet most people with a relatively small hand will also experience that problem. That said, no gun is ideal, especially in this category. No matter which micro-compact gun you pick, you will have to make some compromises. You just have to figure out the compromises you would rather make. If you think you can work around the problems I have discussed, you will absolutely love the gun. If not, well, there are a lot of other options. Check out other videos on the channel for that, so I leave the choice to you. That is all for this video. I hope it has been a comprehensive guide on Springfield's Hellcat. Let me know what you think of it in the comments section, and stay connected with the channel to learn more about guns and everything else surrounding them. As always, I will see you at the next one.